Julian threw me a lavish birthday party. I thought he wanted to celebrate our 6th wedding anniversary along with it. But instead, he said, "Let's get a divorce." Friends and family were all there. His proposing a divorce in front of everyone showed his absolute resolve. I was caught completely off guard, with no idea why. He said, "I'm tired. The days of you controlling me, they're suffocating. I want to live a free and easy life on my own. Can you just set me free?" The murmurs around me all seemed to be chastising me, saying I was too strict with my husband, that no man could stand it. I was truly speechless. I had never even looked at his phone. I didn't even know his passcode. I looked at Julian in a daze. Then I heard Julian's best friend, Sean, say, "Chloe, do a good deed and set him free. You control him so tightly, but his other woman is already pregnant, and she still has no official standing. My husband had someone else, and I knew nothing about it. It was his own best friend who revealed it to me in front of so many people." Julian, red, faced with anger and shame, lunged forward and punched Sean. "What the hell is wrong with you? What nonsense are you spouting? Whose friend are you?" Sean took the punch squarely. "Julian, I'll let you have that one punch. I've been putting up with you for a long time. Every time we go to karaoke, you bring that girl, and then you go home and play the loving husband with Chloe. Chloe, you think he's working hard and entertaining clients every night, but he's actually out with us at a KTV. The reason he comes home so late is that he spends time with that woman after work. He bought her an apartment right across the street from your building." My birthday party had become a complete joke, but by comparison, I wasn't the most humiliated one. Julian was. He never imagined his best friend would backstab him like this. Everyone began to leave, one after another. They left with their own thoughts, some sympathizing with me, some mocking me, some cursing Julian as a scumbag, and others calling Sean disloyal. Sean, however, responded with bold honesty. "How am I disloyal? Was it loyal for Julian to announce a divorce in front of everyone? He wants a divorce, but tries to pin the blame on his wife, making everyone think she's so controlling he's suffocating and wants to escape. What? If this happens to you all one day, you'd rather your husband's friends conspire to deceive you." He said it loudly, ensuring everyone could hear. Everyone fell silent. Julian, seething with rage, clenched his fists, looking like he wanted to rush out and fight Sean again. The room returned to a dead silence. I asked Julian, "How long?" "I couldn't believe I didn't know," Julian said. 2 years. She's still in school. Don't go making trouble for her. She's from the countryside. Life hasn't been easy for her. Chloe, you're different from her. You can be beautifully independent without anyone. But she can't. She has no family. Only me. Without me, she can't survive." I burst out laughing. "So I'm the one who deserves to be abandoned, betrayed, and cheated on. If it weren't for Sean, I would have been blamed at my own birthday party for being too controlling and forcing you into a divorce. How can you be so disgusting?" "I'm sorry. She's pregnant. I have to give her a sense of security. She's still in school. And if I don't force you like this, you won't divorce me." I let out a low laugh. And as I laughed, tears started to fall. "What do you take me for? You're the one who wants a divorce. Do you think I'd beg you to stay? You could have just told me you have someone else and want a divorce. Did you really think I would cling to you and not let go?" Julian didn't say anything more. Just a simple, "I'm sorry." And then he turned and left. Only today did I learn that Julian had another home, in the apartment building right across from ours. He had bought that woman an apartment. I locked myself in my room for 3 days. I didn't go to work. I saw my colleagues gossiping about me in the work chat group. Chloe's husband actually cheated on her and has another woman. I see pictures of them traveling together on her social media all the time. They're always together. Where does he find the time to cheat? Think bigger. I've even seen a husband sneak off for a quickie at a hotel while on his way to pick up the kids. They were college sweethearts, together for 8 years. They got married right after graduation. The apartment they live in was bought by Chloe. Her husband was dirt poor when they got together, and Chloe even paid for his living expenses. Now that he's successful, his mind has started to wander. Do you think she'll get a divorce? Wouldn't divorcing him just let the scumbag off easy? I closed the group chat, no longer wanting to read their gossip about me. I opened my social media and deleted every single post about Julian, one by one. I used to be the perfect woman everyone envied, successful in my career, in a loving marriage with a handsome, wealthy, and gentle husband. Even when I went back to my hometown, relatives would flock around me, praising how lucky I was. Good grades, good university, good career, good husband. All that was left was to have a baby in a year or two. They all said I had good judgment, that I didn't mind that he was poor and knew how to invest in a man with potential, helping him climb to his current position. He had his own company and became the high and mighty CEO Julian. He had probably forgotten the hardships he endured, the poverty he faced, the time he didn't have a single penny in his pocket but desperately wanted to buy me a birthday gift. 3 days later, I received a call from Julian's lawyer, asking me to sign the divorce papers. The assets were to be split 50-50, except for our current home and his company. The house we lived in was bought by me, so he wouldn't take a share. The $3 million in startup capital for his company was given by my parents. He would return the $3 million with interest, so I couldn't get a share of the company either. He thought this was very fair. I won't sign. If he agrees to leave with nothing, I'll sign immediately. MS. Chloe, you should know that the law does not support a full asset forfeiture. As a woman, I sympathize with you and understand. Right now, Mr. Julian feels guilty and is willing to give you half. Once his guilt fades and he comes to his senses, you might not get this much. Besides, an early divorce allows you to start a new life. Why waste your time on this? I let out a soft laugh. He started a new life before we were even divorced. He can. So why can't I? He leaves with nothing. And I'll sign. The lawyer sneered and stood up. MS. Chloe, you are merely delaying the inevitable. Your demand will not be supported in court. If you insist, then we'll see you in court. I returned to work. My boss already knew what had happened and offered me a month off. But I didn't need it. I had to save one thing: my marriage or my job. Since my marriage was gone, I would focus on my work. I went to and from work as usual, showing no signs of the turmoil and humiliation I was facing in my marriage. My colleagues thought I had chosen to swallow my pride and coexist peacefully with the mistress. Such situations were all too common, especially when the husband was now so wealthy. Divorcing him would only benefit the cheating couple. An older colleague even shared her wisdom on marriage with me. Chloe, any smart woman knows to be submissive to her husband, especially when your husband is rich and handsome, with countless women eyeing him. You need to learn to bow your head, to turn a blind eye. That's how you get through life. That other woman he's so obsessed with, isn't it just because she knows how to act weak and submissive? You shouldn't be so focused on your career. You should have a child with Julian. A child between you and your husband would be the legitimate heir. The one from the outside is just an illegitimate child. I found it hard to understand their marital philosophy. Discovering your husband is cheating, and your first thought is to rush to have a baby with him to secure your position as the main wife. Even my parents tried to persuade me, saying Julian was different now. Not the poor boy he used to be. He was now a company CEO, and his company was facing a new round of financing, preparing to go public. Divorcing him now would just be handing everything over to someone else. How strange. Why was everyone trying to persuade me? The issue wasn't whether I wanted a divorce, but that Julian was insisting on it to give the other woman an official title. Then my father said, "So, go and be a little submissive. You have so many years of history together. You went through thick and thin with him. If you soften up, he'll surely have a change of heart." Men at his level want to be admired. They want to protect the weak. I came home for a meal only to be bombarded with these words. Protect the weak. He should go do charity work then. There are plenty of weak people who want protection. I was about to leave. Julian arrived. Mom, Dad, seeing me. Julian paused. Chloe, you're here too. What a coincidence. We didn't know Chloe was coming for dinner today. Well, you two talk. Have a good chat. Chloe has a lot she wants to say to you. My parents quickly made their exit. Julian sat on the sofa, straightened his clothes, and said, "The court date is soon. There's not much for us to talk about. The sooner you sign the divorce papers, the better it is for both of us. I know you don't want to divorce me, but I've already fallen in love with someone else. There's no turning back. Chloe, we've been together for so many years. Let's part on good terms." I said, "You're overthinking it. I didn't know my parents had called you here today. Julian. Back then, my dad gave you all of his $1 million from the demolition compensation to start your business. Without that money, you wouldn't be where you are today. You think you can divorce me by just returning that $1 million? Dream on. Julian was almost furious. Chloe, how did you become so materialistic? Yes, my father-in-law gave me $1 million. But it was my ability that built this company. If you had invested that million in someone else, you might not have seen a single ripple. Now I'm returning it to you with interest. And you're still not satisfied. You want me to leave with nothing. Have you been reading too many novels? Is that even possible? By dragging this out, you're just wasting your time and youth. I don't even love you anymore. What's the point of you insisting on being with me? Watching Julian's agitated rant, I remembered how he had happily hugged me when he got that $1 million, promising me, Chloe, believe in me. When I make the company a success, I'll pay you back 100, 1,000 times over. I'll remember the kindness of you and your father-in-law for the rest of my life. I'll love you and be good to you forever. Honey, I love you. I love you. When he got the money, his love was real. Now, successful with another woman on the side, his lack of love was also real. My parents, seeing that Julian was determined to divorce me, stopped trying to persuade me. They just told me to get it over with, start a new life, and not waste any more time on something so meaningless. I said, I want him to leave with nothing. My parents thought I had gone mad because that was simply impossible. And with Julian's financial power now, he had the time and resources to fight a lengthy legal battle with me. I also found a lawyer, Julian's former best friend, Sean. After the incident at my birthday party, the two had completely fallen out. I repeated my sentence. I want him to leave with nothing. I thought Sean would mock me like everyone else. Dream on. That's impossible. But Sean said, all right, we'll make him leave with nothing. In that moment, I smiled. As I smiled, tears streamed down my face. I said, there's construction outside your law firm. And I got sand in my eyes. Sean handed me a tissue. What's this damn sand doing piled up in front of my place? I'll have someone clear it away. And then, someone really did drive a small excavator over and cleared the sand away. At that moment, I cried even harder. The excavator driver, not knowing how he had offended me, sped up the machine with a thud, thud, and drove off. Seeing the excavator run away so quickly, I laughed again. I was a ridiculous sight, crying and laughing at the same time. Sean suddenly pulled me into a fierce hug, holding me tightly in his arms. Don't be afraid. I'm here. Listening to the sound of his heartbeat against my chest, I inexplicably calmed down. Sean and I were actually childhood friends, having grown up in the same neighborhood. Sean was raised by his grandparents while his parents were abroad. He was taken abroad himself when he reached high school. He had only returned to the country in the last couple of years. Through his work, he had dealings with Julian's company, and they became best friends. That day, I received a friend request from a stranger. Looking at the profile picture, I had a good guess who it was. I accepted the request. The person then sent a series of photos. Photos of her and Julian having fun. A photo of her secretly kissing him while he slept on the sofa. And photos of them embracing in bed. There was even an explicit video of them. Chloe, your husband doesn't love you anymore. Please be graceful and divorce him. Okay. Julian has been carefully protecting me because he's afraid you'll hurt me. But I know you're a kind person. When a husband cheats, you'll only blame the husband, not me. After all, if it wasn't me, it would have been someone else. Right. You know I live in the building across from you, but you never came to cause trouble. I knew you were a good person. Chloe, please let go. Let me and the father of my child be together. I really love him, and he really loves me. I'll have Julian give you more money. Just get the divorce. You're still young. You can find another man who loves you. She said a lot more, but I didn't read the rest. She had sent me all the key evidence of Julian's affair. She took these photos and videos herself. I hadn't secretly filmed them, so they were perfectly legal. I forwarded them to Sean. Sean died laughing. Why would she send such crucial evidence right to our doorstep? We're one step closer to making that scumbag leave with nothing. This calls for a celebration. Let's get some late night snacks. On my way. Her name was Lily. She was still a student at a prestigious university, currently a junior. She came from a poor family and, by chance, received a scholarship sponsored by Julian. Becoming one of his sponsored students, Sean sent me all of Lily's information, including her school's contact details and her academic advisor's number. As Sean ate his grilled skewers, he casually said, "Send the chat logs she sent you to her university. They'll handle it. She said you're a kind person and wouldn't mess with her." "Of course. I also think you're kind and wouldn't make things difficult for her." Then Sean reminded me, "But her being a mistress is a matter of her personal life and morals. The university usually won't expel her for it. At most, they'll give her a warning and some criticism." I immediately sent everything about Lily to her university, just as Sean had said. The university disciplined Lily with criticism and a warning, but no further punishment. Only her teachers and advisor knew about her being a mistress. A few days later, a large banner appeared at the university gate. "Lily, a junior in the finance department, is deeply in love with my husband and is carrying his illegitimate child. As his lawful wife, I am here to formally propose she be accepted as his concubine." There were even people banging gongs and drums at the gate, instantly drawing the attention of students and faculty. Lily became an overnight sensation, even making the local news for being a famous mistress. But I didn't do it. Lily didn't believe me. Julian didn't believe me either. When Julian came to my door to teach me a lesson, it was Sean who opened it. It was raining outside, and he had gotten soaked. So he took a shower at my place. Really, just a shower. But Julian exploded, forgetting the reason he had come to find me. He threw a punch. This time, Sean didn't indulge him. He dodged it, caught his fist, and easily pushed him away. "Sean, what is the meaning of this? Why are you alone in my house?" I said. "We're in the middle of a divorce. This house is in my name alone. It's not your house anymore." "Fine. I'll ask again. Why is he in your house?" Julian demanded, word by word. "Chloe, we're not divorced yet." "That's right. We're not divorced yet. But that didn't stop you from finding a mistress. How come it's not okay when it comes to me?" "What do you mean? What's going on between you two?" "Sean, we were brothers. You're cheating with my wife." Sean went along with my words. "So it's one rule for you and another for everyone else. What kind of double standard is this? You cheat on your wife and still expect her to be faithful to you. That's hilarious. You've got a terminal case of male chauvinism." Julian couldn't take it anymore. "You did this on purpose. You've had your eye on Chloe all along. At the birthday party, you deliberately exposed my affair. You're no brother of mine. This was premeditated." "Premeditated what?" "Chloe and I grew up together. We were running around naked as kids when you were still sleeping in a pigsty in some poor village." Julian flew into a rage, desperate to fight Sean. But he was no match. Furious, he started smashing things in the house. He forgot that he had come to stand up for Lily, to get an explanation for her, to confront me. He was so enraged that he forgot to say it. It wasn't until the next evening, when he had calmed down, that he came to find me again. He went to the fridge himself, grabbed a beer, and chugged the entire bottle. "Chloe, I know you're angry with me, that you're just using Sean to provoke me. But let's put that aside. Why did you have to hurt Lily? She's innocent. It was me who fell helplessly in love with her. You were such a kind person. Why have you become like this? I don't even recognize you anymore." He was even more self-righteous than before. He thought I had cheated too, so his guilt had completely vanished. "Right. Lily's bright future has been ruined by you. Her story is all over the city, and now she's been expelled from the university. She's carrying my child and cries herself unconscious every day. Divorce me. I want to marry her openly and give her the status she deserves." What a sincere and unshakable love. I said, "Fine. You leave with nothing, and I'll divorce you immediately." Julian was dumbfounded. He couldn't understand how I could be so assertive when I had supposedly cheated too. "Chloe, you cheated too, and you want me to leave with nothing? Are you insane? What evidence do you have that I cheated?" "Sean took a shower at my place, and that means I cheated. Did you see me sleep with him with your own eyes?" Julian's face froze, and then a hint of a happy smile appeared. "So it's not true. I was right. You were just using Sean to make me angry, weren't you?" "Chloe, I knew you weren't that kind of person. You have principles. You wouldn't just move on to someone else so easily." "Yes, And you also know we're not the same species. I couldn't sleep all night. I thought you and Sean. I don't know what came over me. When I saw you with Sean, my heart felt so heavy. Actually, it's not that I don't have any love for you anymore. This guy must have studied face. Changing opera. The sound of a toilet flushing came from the bathroom. And then the door opened. Sean walked out. Julian, you've been in there this whole time. Sean shrugged. Where else would I be? Julian yelled at me. Chloe, and you still say there's nothing between you. You've disappointed me so much. Julian slammed the door and left. Sean said, sorry about that. I was just passing by and had a stomachache I couldn't hold in. Did your husband misunderstand something? It's fine. Sean gave me another piece of news. Julian's company was in its Series C funding round. The largest investor, Miranda Morgan, was hosting a charity gala and had invited Mr. and Mrs. Julian to attend. Julian hadn't told me. He was planning to take Lily. Sean also gave me an invitation to the gala. All you have to do is tell Miranda Morgan that you are Julian's real wife, and she will reconsider her investment in his company. Sean also sent me Miranda's information. Miranda was a venture capitalist. She had been betrayed by her husband years ago and had fought her way to her current position on her own. She despised men who knew nothing of loyalty. Sean added, if you do this, it will be very difficult for Julian's company to go public. Miranda has a very high standing in the industry. If she doesn't invest, no one else will dare to. Then Sean said, I know you're a kind person and want to part on good terms. You wouldn't want to burn bridges with your ex-husband. It wouldn't do you any good either. After all, him leaving with nothing means he needs to have a lot of money to give you. Right. I had already figured out Sean's game. He was deliberately provoking me. If Sean hadn't told me this, I would have never known about the charity gala, nor would I have gotten an invitation. I rarely attended Julian's outside events because he always said I didn't like such occasions and there was no need to force myself. I had been grateful for his consideration, but it turned out he never wanted me to appear in the first place. That's why almost no one in Julian's circle had ever seen me. I went to a temple and sat in quiet meditation for a long time. I was indeed a kind person. Doing something bad made me feel guilty, but being too kind really isn't a good thing. It's better to be a little shameless in life. I went to the charity gala. Julian had his arm around Lily, introducing her to people. This is my wife. Lily. Yes. She's pregnant, and her morning sickness is quite severe. I worry so much I can't sleep at night. Pregnancy is really hard on women. It was clear that most people in this circle knew Lily. Julian said they had been together for 2 years, which meant Lily had been attending these events for the past 2 years. Lily leaned against Julian's embrace. My pregnancy is hard, but it's not as hard as my husband working to earn money. Marrying a man like Julian must have used up all the luck of my lifetime. Everyone saw their loving and harmonious display. Miranda Morgan looked at them, smiling and nodding. Mr. Julian, a man who is good to his wife will prosper. Your company will surely have a bright future. Julian was very happy, but before he could speak, he saw me. His face turned completely pale. It wasn't the first time Lily and I had met. I remembered now. 2 years ago, Lily had come to my house, carrying a basket of eggs she said were free, ranged from her hometown. I saw that she was still using an old feature phone and had specially given her a brand new smartphone. Lily nearly stumbled, leaning heavily on Julian. She was probably terrified of me now, thinking I was the one who put up the banner at her school. Actually, it wasn't me. I guess Sean did it. Julian strode forward, trying to pull me out. I shook off his hand. Chloe, are you trying to ruin me by making a scene now? You're a strong career woman yourself. Why act like a shrew over a small marital issue? If you ruin me, you won't get much money from the divorce either. As if I would get a lot of money if I didn't ruin him. Julian, stop talking about money. 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 It's so vulgar. There's a saying, it's not about the prize. It's about the principle. Seeing me walk towards Miranda, Julian hissed. I'll leave with nothing. I'll do as you ask. All the money the company has made over the years, I'll give it all to you. Just don't ruin my company. It's my life's work. Miranda saw Julian and me struggling, her eyes fixed on her. She approached us suspiciously. Ma'am, are you looking for me? She glanced at Julian's hand, which was still gripping my arm. Julian quickly pulled his hand back. I said, yes, Mrs. Morgan. I've long admired your name and was hoping to take a photo with you. If I may, Julian quickly interjected. Mrs. Morgan. This is my university classmate. I was just stopping her, afraid she would disturb you. Such a small thing. How could it be a disturbance? After taking a photo with Miranda, I left. At the entrance, I saw Julian looking at me with lingering fear, while Lily hid behind him, completely out of her depth. I successfully divorced. Julian gave me all his assets, except for his company. In his eyes, as long as he kept his company, he could earn back all the money he gave me. When I went to the apartment building across the street to take possession of the property, Lily clearly didn't know this unit was also mine. Julian bought this apartment for me. What right do you have to take it away? She screamed at me. You've already gotten me expelled from university. What more do you want? You were expelled because of your own actions. It has nothing to do with me. This apartment was purchased by my ex-husband with marital assets. Now that he is left with nothing, do you think I have the right to take it? Lily refused to leave. I called property management to handle it. She caused a huge scene, drawing a crowd of neighbors. As a result, everyone found out she was a mistress. The neighbors pointed at her and muttered. I was wondering how such a young girl could afford such a nice apartment, driving luxury cars and carrying designer bags. I thought she married a good husband, but it turns out she's a mistress. How unlucky. Living under the same roof as a mistress. The original wife is here to reclaim the property, and she's asking what right she has. That's hilarious. Oh my. Her belly is so big. You should have just dragged it out. Let her give birth to an illegitimate child. Lily had been living a glamorous life for so long. Besides being laughed at by her classmates at school, she was usually envied wherever she went. She had never been so openly mocked by her neighbors. She broke down and sat on the floor, wailing. What do you mean? Mistress. The one who isn't loved is the mistress. I am loved by her husband. How am I the mistress? Such a self-righteous mantra for the other woman. Julian arrived and quickly scooped Lily up. He glared at me. You're just taking over an apartment. Why did you have to bully her like this? I'm so glad I divorced a shrew like you. I don't even recognize you anymore. Lily, protected by Julian, looked triumphant, hugging his waist and leaning against his chest. Honey, you'll buy me a better apartment in the future. I don't want this one anyway. Okay, my love. I'm sorry you had to go through this. I hadn't even said a word. An elderly neighbor couldn't stand it anymore. On a cold winter day, she threw a basin of cold water out. Disgusting dogs. So shameless. Julian was drenched and furious, threatening to call the police. I said, don't make a scene. The lady accidentally splashed some water. That's not a crime. The police will at most make her pay you $500. I'll pay you $50,000. I just transferred it to you on WeChat. I'll never forget the look Julian gave me, as if he had been deeply humiliated. After all, when Julian was just starting his business, times were tough, and he needed money everywhere. He never asked me for it. I always considered his pride and would put my bank card in his drawer. When he used the money, I would deposit my new salary into that card. I gave him money while protecting his pride. I had been by his side, step by step, as he went from a poor boy to a company CEO, only for him to say, let's get a divorce. I don't love you anymore. I've fallen in love with someone else. How utterly ridiculous. As Julian left, holding Lily, he looked back at me. I met his gaze calmly, my eyes cold as ice. He frowned, his expression unreadable. I thought that after our divorce, Julian would immediately marry Lily. But to my surprise, their child was born, and they still weren't married. Julian was busy with his company, terrified of any misstep that would prevent it from going public. He had to ensure the company's normal operation and the success of the financing. Lily, on the other hand, was insecure. She would call him more than a dozen times a day. Even when Julian was having dinner with clients, Lily suspected he was out with another woman. Once, because Julian was on a business trip and didn't answer her call while in a hotel meeting, Lily showed up at the hotel with their child. In a room full of employees and clients, Julian lost face completely. He berated Lily in front of everyone. Can you be a little more sensible? I'm working. Chloe was never as neurotic as you. She has her own career and never revolved her life around a man. And you, all you do is cry with the baby. Stop crying. You're crying away all my good fortune. Lily was no pushover either, shouting back, are you regretting divorcing her? It's too late for regrets. I've already had your child. You can never get rid of me. I knew all this because Julian's assistant told me, and even sent me a video. Back when the company was small, I would bring gifts for everyone whenever I visited. Later, as the company grew, I would bring afternoon tea. The assistant said Lily never brought anything for anyone. Every time she came to the office, she acted high and mighty and had even berated a young girl for slacking off at work in front of everyone. The girl was thin-skinned and resigned the next day. Lily also wanted to manage the company's finances, claiming her major was relevant. But Julian was clear-headed enough not to let her, telling her to stay home and take care of the child. Having risen as a mistress herself, Lily was always suspicious of the female employees in the company. She would threaten anyone who got too close to Julian. Now, none of the female employees dared to say more than a few words to Julian. The company's financing failed. After a period of assessment, Miranda Morgan decided to withdraw her investment in Julian's company. Once Miranda pulled out, other investors followed suit, let alone going public. Even maintaining basic operations became difficult. One weekend, I invited Sean over for dinner. Before he even entered, Sean asked with a grin, you told Miranda about Julian's mistress, didn't you? Their company's financing failed, and they can't go public. Before I could answer, Julian appeared at the elevator. He looked at me in disbelief, staggering forward to ask, I already left with nothing, and you still won't let me go. Chloe, do you hate me that much? Does ruining me make you happy? I glanced at Sean. That sly devil. At it again. What else? Should I be hoping you live a better and better life, making more and more money? Julian clutched his chest and left. It seemed he had come just to ask if I had told Miranda about his affair, which led to her pulling the investment. Chloe, whether you believe it or not, I genuinely hope you're doing well. I never thought you'd do this to me. And yet, I still have feelings for you. As soon as he said that, I let out another TSK and laughed, hoping I'm doing well. Yet he kept a mistress and had an illegitimate child. After the divorce, he says he still has feelings for me. Who is he trying to disgust? I glanced at Sean. You did this again, didn't you? How could I? It was Julian's company that had operational problems. Lily is really something else. She wasn't content just messing up Julian's life. She had to mess with his company too. One time, Miranda went to their company and saw Lily bossing employees around. She found out about all of Julian's dirty laundry from the staff. Julian has banned Lily from the company, so now she's watching him even more closely. He truly has no freedom now. I suddenly remembered what Julian said on my birthday, that he wanted a divorce to be free. So, you really can't say some things out loud. Be careful what you wish for. Within 3 years, Julian's company faced a severe financial crisis. After the financing failed, many investors pulled out. Julian had borrowed a lot of money from the bank, and now he couldn't repay it. The cash flow was broken, and he couldn't even pay his employees' salaries. Employees often protested outside the company, demanding their wages. He was truly broke. He hadn't earned much in recent years, and most of it had gone to Lily. Lily always used the child to threaten him, saying that no matter how hard things got, the child couldn't suffer. But he found that the child was still frail and thin, while Lily was decked out in luxury goods. Besides spending money, she was useless. When I got home, I saw Julian sitting by my door, holding a liquor bottle. Seeing me return, he staggered to his feet. Chloe. He was unshaven, his clothes wrinkled, his hair a mess, and he smelled. I instinctively covered my nose and took a step back. Seeing my reaction, he looked even more heartbroken. You don't love me anymore, do you? I can see it. There's no light in your eyes when you look at me. But Chloe, these past few years, I've missed you more and more. I miss you so much I can't sleep. I regret it. I really regret why I made that mistake. Why I left you for such a piece of trash. I couldn't help but rub salt in his wound. What trash? That's your true love. You were dying to give her a proper title, and you still haven't. Go home and take care of your kid. My disgusted tone nearly shattered him. It's impossible for us now, isn't it? You look down on me like this now, but when we first met, I was like this too. All these years. I could never forget you. Which is why I never married Lily. Julian. That's enough. Stop trying to move yourself. You've just returned to the poor, pathetic state you were in before we met. If your life had gotten better and better, you wouldn't have thought of me for a second. I must have hit a nerve. As a look of flustered panic crossed his face. Chloe, I came to see you today because I have a favor to ask. For the sake of our many years together. Please. The elevator doors opened, and Sean walked out, carrying groceries. Well, if it isn't CEO Julian. Julian saw Sean open my door and casually change into slippers. He looked at me in shock. You two are really together. Sean asked him, what do you want with my girlfriend? Your company is about to go bankrupt. Don't tell me you're here to borrow money. Honey, we can't lend him this money. It's a one-way trip. Before I could say anything, Julian swallowed the words he was about to say. I'm not here to borrow money. I just came to see Chloe. As long as she's doing well, I'm relieved. Julian ran off in embarrassment. Sean said, he was here to borrow money. You got so much from the divorce. He was thinking of getting it back. I know. I didn't lend him any. And don't you be eyeing my money either. Sean scoffed. Your pocket change. Keep it for yourself. My mom will be here soon. I'm going to cook. It's the first time I'm meeting your mother. I should be going to your house. How can I let your mother come to me? It's fine. She's lived abroad for a long time. She's not so formal. Just then, the doorbell rang. Seeing the tall figure at the door, I froze for a moment. Instinctively, I blurted out, Mrs. Morgan. Miranda smiled and took my hand. Why call me Mrs. Morgan? That's so distant. I used to hold you when you were a baby. You were just too young to remember. Auntie, how is it you? Sean is your son. You didn't know. I thought you knew. Didn't he insist on coming back to the country for you? Now I also think Julian was right. Sean had been plotting this for a long time. He must have deliberately gotten close to Julian. I gave Sean a hard pinch on his butt. You sly old fox. Sean yelped, but steadfastly denied any premeditation. I felt something was off, but I had no proof. Julian went completely bankrupt before all his employees had even left. Lily was the first to run. I heard that Julian grabbed Lily's hand and cried, I have nothing left. Only you and our son. You won't leave me, will you? That very night, Lily took all the valuables from the house and ran. No one knows where she went. She only left behind a frail, thin son. As the boy grew, he looked less and less like Julian. Julian came to see me one more time, to borrow money for a paternity test. He had nowhere else to borrow from, but he desperately wanted the truth. Sean was the first to jump in. Lend it. We must lend him the money for this. I rolled my eyes at him. I still lent him the money. I don't know the result. I never asked Julian, but I heard that Julian, trying to escape his debts, smuggled himself out of the country. He left his son with his creditors as collateral, promising to come back for him once he made money. The creditors took turns caring for his son but never saw Julian return to pay his debts. The creditors, at their wits' end, could only call the police. In the end, the police found Lily and had her take the boy back. I saw Lily at the police station. Because Julian was my ex-husband, the police had called me in for questioning, asking if I knew his whereabouts. When Lily saw me, she grabbed her son and turned to leave, as if afraid I would talk to her. Sean said I was a kind person and surely wouldn't say anything to provoke her, but I couldn't resist. I went up and asked, so, who is the child's father? Lily's whole body trembled, and she practically ran away, clutching her son. Julian's creditors heard me and were completely stunned. So the kid's dad isn't Julian. Damn. That idiot Julian has terrible taste in women. For a second there, I almost feel sorry for him. I wanted to retort that his taste wasn't always so bad. After all, his taste was pretty good when he chose me. He just didn't know how to cherish what he had. And I had found a man who knew how to cherish me. You have to lose the wrong person to meet the right one. I still remember when I first found out about Julian's affair. I was in a terrible state, feeling like my whole world had collapsed. But Sean told me, if things don't go as planned, perhaps fate has other arrangements. I think he was right.